What's up, my 1111 YouTube friends? Figured I'd bring you guys up to speed on the turboed pumpkin project. Trenton's been working his butt off on polishing this tunnel. We'll get back to this. I want to talk about all the other stuff we pulled apart. Trenton Trenton stripped the whole sled apart. I did some putsy here and there stuff, pulling out rod ends, stuff like that. We're trying to get all of our parts ready to bring to the powder coater by June is our goal. And I'm just about to order the decal kit so we can get the correct orange so we can pick out our powder color so that it'll match the decal kit, the orange that's in it. So we got the bulkhead sitting over here. Trenton's kind of using it for his little shelf here in his storage area, but I pulled out some engine straps, started setting some straps down in there to see what's going to work. Once again, this is a 96 XCR 600 chassis that we're going to be using. I have a set of 650 straps sitting here, and these are a set of XCR monoblock straps sitting here. The 650 ones kind of fit. I might have to tweak them a little bit. So I might just try and tweak them instead of, otherwise I'd have to weld all these holes shut and drill new holes for these straps. I think the less labor intensive is just to put a little bit of heat to these and change the angle on the straps a little bit, because that's about all I noticed needed to be done. And I've done it on a lot of other engine swaps. I've just put a little heat to them and just throw them on the floor and whack them with a hammer. And I tell you what, it sounds crude, but it does work. I've done it several times. But our tote, our colors are over here. Most of this stuff in these totes is going to get powder coated. Most of it's going to be done in orange, and a lot of it's going to be done in black. Why? That didn't make no sense. How about 50-50? Half orange, half in black. But we took everything apart. These Northern Lights trailing arms. What were they? A pound lighter, Trenton?
Like 2 pounds.
2 pounds per trailing arm. Yeah, maybe let's turn the scale on. I actually have a stock trailing arm. All right, we're going live. We're gonna weigh them. I don't remember what they were, but I don't think it was crazy lighter. I weighed all the steering components. I weighed all the radius rods and all the steering arms, and some of them were exactly dead even. The light versus stock. Let's see if we can get it balanced on there. Balanced. So the Northern Lights trailing arm weighs 3.4 pounds. 3.44. Let's see what a stock one weighs. And these were the shit back in the 90s. Everybody had to have them because they're all lightweight. So 5.06. So like a pound and a half. So there's 3 pounds off the front end right there. And then, like I said, on the radius rods and the steering arms, it's 0. I mean, like I said, some of them weighed the same. The lights versus the stock were the same. And the other stuff was within ounces. So not even enough to even talk about. So your biggest saving is on the trailing arm. 1.5 pounds on each side. So if you run ultralight trailing arms in either aluminum skis or SLP light skis, then you actually got something off the front. But the steering arms and stuff in this whole thing didn't mean much. Didn't mean much at all. So we're gonna go through all this stuff. We'll sort through everything, figure out what's gonna be what color. I think there's only 2 colors here, and I'm pretty sure that's what we're going with, is black or orange. We have to take the skid all apart. Some of this is gonna be black and orange in the skid also. Me and Trenton have been bouncing some ideas around. We're thinking orange on the rails, black on all the other parts there. We're thinking black on the trailing arms, and then anything to do with the front end, like the springs and the radius rods and the steering, we're thinking orange. I think we're thinking orange on the foot stirrups, right, Trenton? Orange. And so from there, we got to figure out some of the other stuff. But that's kind of where we're leaning. I'm actually going to get the shocks redone in the nickel, so they'll be the same. They'll look gold. They'll look gold again. And I'll get the Fox shocks and stuff. That way they'll look like the actual shocks that would have came in '91 on a Indy 650. So I don't want them white. But we got to look at Trenton here. He's been polishing all day. Trenton, you're filthy. But he's been going after this thing all day. And what are the steps? First of all, we drilled every absolutely every single rivet out of this tunnel. I've polished tunnels in the past, so has Trenton, and having the rivet heads in there sucks. You can get them polished good, but it's never quite right around the rivet head. And so we decided on this one to take every single rivet out, and we're actually going to have a lot of these brackets powder coated in orange. Even though they're up and behind the tunnel, you really won't see them, but we decided that's going to be orange. So Trenton's got a multi-step that he's using to do this, and maybe he can explain step by step, and then he's actually going to do a little buffing for us.
First I had to strip it all the way down. I had to get some aircraft stripper. Then I took it outside with the gas powered pressure washer for about 5 hours with that. Then I had to sand it, 400 grit sandpaper. Then I just followed the steps in my little kit that I got. Started with, I think, one of the buffing wheels. I started with this one. This one after the 400 grit.
That's like a Scotch-Brite or something on
Yes,
that one, isn't it? You
Scotch.
don't even use compound with that one.
No.
Yep, no compound.
I think it's like 2000 grit maybe. Then I went to the orange one with the red bar until there was no black left on the tunnel. And then I went to with the yellow and the green until I seen no black on the tunnel. And now I'm hitting it with this one, but I gotta go in the store in the morning and get a new one because it's about wore out.
Sure, yeah, it's getting small on you. And what's your finished comp? You're doing mothers now with that wheel?
No,
No,
I'm
you're
still
using
the green.
green. Using the green on the finish.
Yeah.
You're just using mothers on your final wipe and cleanup.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Sure. All right, Trenton, why don't you smear some, why don't you get your wheel all loaded up? Let's buff a little section here so everybody can see how horrible this is, but it is getting there. He's got a little bit more ways to go, but it's getting incredibly close. You can see my camera and microphone in there. Yeah, I mean, look at my hand reflection. It is absolutely looking crazy. You can see you can see a trailer and stuff. You can see the camper behind here. It's really, really getting close. And Trenton's, he's got about how many hours do you think now you have in it between the stripping of the paint and the buffing now?
Probably about 30.
You think 30 hours? Yeah, it's an insane amount of time. And just the time we spent to pull all the rivets out and stuff. So if this is something you're looking to do, it's a labor of love on this one. This one is a very, very time-consuming process.
I started just the buffing this morning at 5 o'clock this morning.
Wow, yeah, and it's like 3 o'clock now. So he's got a full day into the buffing already. So yep, let's do a spot, show everybody how we do it, or how you do it. Hang on. When you're working with this compound, any of these buffing videos you watch, you'll see guys wearing their respirators and stuff. Trenton got kind of pulled away there and almost forgot to put it on. I just reminded him to put it on, but you got to really wear that when you're working with this stuff. This is not a good thing that you want to be coating your lungs with, breathing this stuff. Well, that's the gist of it there. You can see he goes one direction, takes his time. He's kind of watching what the material's doing. He kind of set himself up with a little fixture here to get the tunnel in different positions. It's a lot easier to buff when you got it laying flat versus trying to work on an edge like this. And plus this is kind of sturdy now. This tunnel is so light, you're just kind of pushing it around when you're trying to just set it on the horses and try and buff it that way. So he's got a couple screws just ran right through a couple of the tunnel holes into this timber that he's got screwed and clamped down to the sawhorses here to hold that thing nice and rigid. So it's just a lot easier to buff when your part is stationary and solid and you don't have to worry about chasing your part around. You can just dig into it, and you're putting like medium pressure on it too, aren't you? You're putting a little bit of pressure on it.
Quite a bit.
Yep. And so yeah, that one wheel, his finish wheels wore out. So he's calling it a day. He's gonna go get another finish wheel and go after this some more. Yeah, and like I said, in a couple more weeks, we should have all the parts at the powder coater. I should have a decal kit here. We got some parts ordered up. We got a headlight cover, but I want to save that for another video. And I got some carb boots, and we're just slowly, and I got some gauges lined up. So we're just slowly kind of getting the parts lined up. We're going to try and pick at it all summer, and that way in the fall, things just kind of come together. So thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate all the support. And comment. Let's hear some comments on what you think about our color choices and what our thoughts are. So always open for thoughts. Thanks a lot, everybody.